First, Laura will share a courtroom with prior convicted felons, one who is currently an inmate. Other than Laura's case, there will be
Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, two Hollywood stars, now locked in a courtroom feud but shaking the industry. What started as a friendly collaboration between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has now spiraled into one of Hollywood's most talked about legal battles. The two were working together on a highly anticipated romantic drama, with Baldoni not only starring alongside Lively, but also directing the project. Fans were thrilled at the pairing, expecting on-screen chemistry and cinematic magic. But behind the scenes, things reportedly turned tense over creative decisions, scheduling conflicts, and even disputes about how certain scenes should be filmed. Insiders claim arguments spilled out of private meetings into the open, with crew members overhearing heated exchanges. The situation escalated when legal teams got involved, each accusing the other of breaching contracts and damaging reputations. What was once a promising artistic partnership has turned into a public, high-stakes courtroom showdown with millions on the line.
Upon questioning by Friedman at her recent deposition, Lively admitted that the only ongoing smear campaign about which she has personal knowledge involves a retaliatory lawsuit in the press that you, Brian Friedman, have done, and the statements that you made about me and my character.
All right, so yeah, this sounds really juicy, right? Because as she goes on at the 42-second mark, this makes it sound as though Blake Lively is admitting that
Court documents reveal the feud stems from more than just creative differences. According to filings, Blake Lively claims Baldoni made last-minute changes to the script without her approval, altering key emotional beats she felt were essential to her character. Sources close to the actress say she believed these changes undermined her performance and the overall quality of the film. On the other side, Baldoni's camp alleges that Lively repeatedly delayed production with scheduling demands, causing budget overruns that frustrated investors. While both parties publicly praised each other early in production, private emails now leaked in court paint a very different picture, one filled with frustration, mistrust, and even personal jabs. The tension grew so intense that some scenes had to be shot separately, with stand-ins, to avoid direct interaction between the two stars. Illegal filings also shine a spotlight on money, always a major factor in Hollywood disputes. Lively's team is seeking damages for what they call intentional interference with artistic integrity, arguing that Baldoni's decisions directly impacted the film's marketability. They allege that reshoots ordered by Baldoni without studio consensus inflated costs by millions, all while tarnishing her reputation as a reliable lead. Meanwhile, Baldoni's lawyers counter that Lively's refusal to cooperate with production schedules forced costly delays, pushing the movie's release date back by months. They insist she breached her contractual obligation to promote the project and participate in press tours. Both sides are now digging in, with depositions scheduled to include high-profile producers, co-stars, and even studio executives who witnessed the fallout firsthand. Inside the courtroom, tensions were already sky-high when both sides presented their opening arguments. Blake Lively's legal team, comprised of some of the most high-profile attorneys in Hollywood, painted a picture of a woman wronged, insisting that Justin Baldoni's actions had not only violated contractual agreements, but also deeply damaged her reputation. They allege that private messages, sensitive emails, and even behind-the-scenes production notes had been leaked, hinting that Baldoni's team was responsible. On the other side, Baldoni's lawyers dismissed these claims as wildly unfounded and accused Lively of orchestrating the lawsuit as a publicity stunt to boost her career. The media, already hungry for drama, latched onto every word. Court sketches of Lively looking defiant and Baldoni glaring across the table went viral within hours. It was clear, this wasn't just a legal dispute. It was a full-scale celebrity showdown. As the first witnesses took the stand, the case took an even more dramatic turn. Former production staff from the set of It Ends With Us gave testimonies that painted wildly different pictures of what had really happened. One assistant claimed they saw Lively visibly distressed during filming, often retreating to her trailer in tears after heated conversations with Baldoni. Another crew member, however, testified that Lively was the one causing tension, showing up late and refusing to practice shoot certain scenes. The contradiction was explosive and social media couldn't get enough. Hashtags like Team Blake and Team Justin trended globally, while YouTube commentators began dissecting every facial expression from the courtroom footage. Even fashion bloggers chimed in, critiquing the outfits worn to trial as if it were a red carpet event. Every day, the case was less about legalities and more about the optics of celebrity warfare. Midway through the week, an unexpected bombshell dropped. TMZ obtained what they claimed were exclusive leaked text messages between Baldoni and an unnamed producer, in which he allegedly referred to Lively in unflattering terms and suggested teaching her a lesson after a dispute over creative direction. Baldoni's legal team immediately cried foul, accusing Lively's side of orchestrating the leak to sway public opinion. In a fiery press conference outside the courthouse, Baldoni's lawyer slammed the media for trial by tabloid, warning that the court of public opinion could end up being more brutal than the actual jury. But the damage was already done. The public perception of Baldoni began to shift, and suddenly the comment sections that once defended him were filled with criticism. By day 4, the trial felt more like a Netflix drama than a real-life legal proceeding. The gallery was packed with reporters, celebrity bloggers, and even a few recognizable faces from the entertainment industry who claimed to be just there for support. Blake Lively's husband, Ryan Reynolds, was spotted in the audience, his trademark smirk notably absent. Cameras caught the moment he leaned forward and whispered something to Lively, prompting speculation about whether he was advising her on strategy or simply offering emotional comfort. Meanwhile, Baldoni's supporters accused the court of playing favorites, pointing out that the judge had scolded Baldoni twice for interrupting testimony, but had been far more lenient with Lively. Conspiracy theories began to brew online. Was this trial truly about justice, or was it a carefully staged Hollywood takedown? The next twist came not from the lawyers, but from a surprise witness. An entertainment journalist who had covered the making of It Ends With Us testified under oath that they had overheard heated arguments between the two stars about everything from line delivery to set decor. Most shocking was the claim that during one confrontation, Baldoni allegedly told Lively, "You're nothing without this movie." To which she reportedly replied, "And you're nothing without me." The courtroom gasped. Baldoni's attorneys tried to discredit the journalist by questioning their credibility and pointing out inconsistencies in their cast reporting. Still, the quote spread across Twitter like wildfire, cementing the public's fascination with the case. The weekend break in the trial did nothing to slow the drama. Paparazzi swarmed both Lively and Baldoni as they left the courthouse, capturing tense moments and icy stares. Lively, dressed in an understated beige suit, kept her head down, while Baldoni walked quickly, ignoring shouted questions from reporters. Celebrity gossip sites ran side-by-side photo spreads of their courthouse walks of shame, comparing them to iconic paparazzi shots from past Hollywood scandals. Public opinion polls began appearing online, asking fans to choose sides, and the results were shockingly close. 51% in favor of Lively, 49% in favor of Baldoni. It was a reminder that in the age of social media, trials are as much about perception as they are about the law. Outside the courtroom, the tension between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni took on a new dimension as the media swarmed both parties. Photographers jostled for position, reporters shouted questions, and the hum of gossip grew louder by the hour. Onlookers were struck by how carefully Blake navigated the chaos, offering polite but firm smiles to fans while refusing to take bait from more aggressive journalists. Meanwhile, Justin's team seemed equally determined to control the narrative, issuing cryptic statements, hinting that there was far more to the story than the public had been told. This only fueled speculation, with celebrity blogs racing to piece together hidden details. Hollywood thrives on whispers, and this feud had become a full-blown storm of intrigue, leaving the world eager for the next explosive reveal. The most shocking twist came when a source close to the case leaked alleged text messages between Blake and Justin, sparking a frenzy across social media. These messages, if authentic, suggested that their dispute might have roots in private disagreements that date back months before the public fallout. Some lines hinted at creative differences on set, while others implied personal tension that blurred the lines between professional and private life. The internet exploded with theories, dissecting every word for clues. Was this simply a disagreement that spiraled out of control, or was there a deeper betrayal involved? Fans who once shipped the duo as an unbeatable creative team now found themselves taking sides, ready to defend their favorite at all costs. The court of public opinion was now just as divided as the legal one. As court proceedings stretched on, the case began to attract attention from unexpected corners of Hollywood. Fellow actors, directors, and producers weighed in, some offering subtle support through likes and cryptic posts, while others remained firmly neutral. The industry is small, and everyone knows reputations can be made or broken overnight. The underlying fear was that getting involved could burn bridges. But a few outspoken voices accused both Blake and Justin of letting ego cloud their judgment, suggesting that the feud was a distraction from more important industry issues. This criticism only added another layer to the drama, raising the stakes for both parties who were now not only fighting each other, but also defending their professional legacies. The legal battle's focus shifted dramatically when Blake's legal team introduced a new piece of evidence, a confidential production memo that allegedly detailed behind-the-scenes conflicts on their last joint project. The memo painted a picture of clashing visions and escalating tension, with meetings turning heated and compromises becoming impossible. For Blake's supporters, this was proof that she had been forced into an untenable situation. For Justin's fans, it was a calculated attempt to smear his reputation by taking private production struggles public. In the courtroom, the document was debated intensely, with lawyers from both sides dissecting its contents word by word. Outside, the press labeled it the smoking gun, further sensationalizing the already high-stakes battle. A public's fascination with this case reached new heights when a major streaming platform reportedly paused negotiations for a new series that was set to star both Blake and Justin. Industry insiders whispered that the project's cancellation was a direct result of the ongoing drama, signaling real financial consequences for both stars. This revelation struck a nerve. Suddenly, it wasn't just about pride or principle. Careers were on the line, and millions in potential revenue were at stake. Fans lamented the loss of what could have been a hit show, while critics speculated whether the streaming service was using the controversy as an excuse to walk away from a risky project. The courtroom drama was no longer just entertainment. It was shaping the trajectory of two major Hollywood careers. During one particularly tense court session, Justin took the stand to give his side of the story. His testimony was delivered with a mix of sincerity and quiet defiance, painting himself as a professional who had tried to resolve conflicts behind closed doors, only to be met with resistance. He avoided personal attacks on Blake, but his words carried undertones that suggested betrayal. The courtroom was silent, hanging on every detail. Outside, the narrative began to shift slightly, with some commentators acknowledging that Justin's measured approach could sway public sympathy. But Blake's camp quickly fired back, promising that her testimony, scheduled for later that week, would tell a very different story. When Blake finally took the stand, it was a moment that dominated headlines. Wearing a tailored yet understated outfit, she exuded confidence and composure. Her testimony was emotional yet controlled, recounting moments where she felt undermined, dismissed, and even sabotaged during their professional collaborations. She stopped short of accusing Justin of outright malice, but painted a clear picture of strained trust. At times, her voice wavered, drawing murmurs from the gallery. Social media lit up instantly, with hashtags like #TeamBlake and #TeamJustin trending simultaneously. This wasn't just a legal fight anymore. It was a battle for the hearts and minds of millions of fans around the world. The aftermath of Blake's testimony brought an unexpected wave of celebrity involvement. Several high-profile names, some of whom had worked with Blake or Justin, posted messages of support for one or the other. A-listers are usually cautious about inserting themselves into controversies, but this feud had become too big to ignore. Some posted vague motivational quotes that fans interpreted as subtle jabs, while others outright declared their allegiance. The industry divide was now crystal clear, and entertainment news outlets capitalized on the drama, creating who's siding with who charts. It was starting to look less like a single feud and more like a Hollywood Cold War. As the trial neared its conclusion, both camps became more aggressive in their public relations strategies. Blake's team released a series of behind-the-scenes photos showing her in moments of creative leadership and camaraderie with crew members, painting her as a collaborative professional. Justin's team countered with glowing testimonials from past co-stars and directors, emphasizing his talent and dedication. The media war mirrored the legal battle, each side determined to claim the moral high ground before the jury's decision. By now, the case had transcended its original dispute and evolved into a defining moment in both of their careers. The closing arguments were nothing short of theatrical. Blake's lawyers framed her as a woman standing up against an entrenched pattern of disrespect, while Justin's team portrayed him as a victim of unfounded accusations amplified by media sensationalism. Both sides appealed to fairness, truth, and the preservation of professional integrity. When the judge announced that the verdict would be delivered the following week, the anticipation was palpable. Outside, the frenzy reached fever pitch, with networks planning live coverage and analysts predicting every possible outcome. For Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, the battle had been exhausting, but for Hollywood and the millions watching, the drama had only just begun.